But I love your energy about like that, like how do we stay hopeful, right? How do we stay hopeful when it seems like it feels almost impossible to, how do you vote somebody in that would be able to withstand the tide of it all?
Theo, this is where we've got to take a deep breath and accept our very serious responsibilities as citizens, okay? And you think back, and I don't want to romanticize this, but you think back on American history. And, we read all about this when we were in the third grade, Those were pretty brave guys, George Washington and Jefferson and all those guys, taking on the British Empire. No one in a million years thought you could defeat the British Empire.
For sure.
And they did. And a lot of thousands died. Thousands of them died. It was a pretty bloody situation. And then you think about the Civil War, where very brave people said, you know what, slavery is a moral abomination. We're not going to accept it anymore. God knows what that Civil War was about. Hundreds of thousands of people on both sides died. And then you think about, and I think about this, December 7th, 1941, the United States was attacked at Pearl Harbor. We were totally unprepared. Do you know that? We were totally unprepared. We had to fight a war against Japan, a war against Hitler in Europe, right? Totally unprepared. And yet the country came together. Instead of building cars, they built tanks and planes. Literally in 2 or 3 years, we had put the Nazis on the defensive. The war was won. So what I'm saying is this is perhaps the most difficult moment, in my view, in modern American history. And it's because Trump is an authoritarian who happens not to believe in democracy. And I think he's corrupt. And it's tough. But we have won great battles in the past, and I believe if we do not allow our people to become divided up, we will win this as well. And not only defeat Trumpism, which I work very hard to do, but also create the kind of nation that we can become. Healthcare is a human right. You know what? If you have some children, they have a right to get all the education they need. We are not some poor third world country.
Right.
Right? All right. So we have got to have a vision of where we want to go as a nation. And I think if we fight for that vision, if we bring people together, we can succeed.
When you speak with guys like Mamdani, did you have any suggestions for him? Did you give him any advice?
Well, actually, he followed my political career pretty closely. He studied what I did as mayor of Burlington back in the 80s, the campaign that I ran. So we chat every now and then. I am extraordinarily impressed by his energy, his intelligence. He has a really good persona. He's out there with the people, and I think he's going to do a really great job for the city of New York.
Do you feel like the Democratic Party kind of takes him seriously as like a future candidate for like elections or for presidential elections? Or
now you are raising a sensitive issue.
Or is it a sensitive issue?
Sensitive issue, sure
yeah.
it is.
But yeah, do they look at him as like a one-off, like an outsider?
No. Look, what does it mean to be the establishment? The establishment means in a corrupt political system. Or if you're the establishment, what you do is you leave this, you get on the phone and you talk to your billionaire friends and say, look, I'm setting up a super PAC. I want your help to, win the congressional race in Arizona and California, I want you to put in $30 million each, okay? I'll have $300 million, 10 of you put $300 million. I get the ads going next week. We're in business, right?
That's crazy, yeah.
All right, that's the way the system works. All right. And every now and then you have somebody like Mamdani who comes along and says, I don't want your money. Not only do I not want your money, we're going to take you bastards on. Okay? Do they want them? No. So the Democratic Party right now is kind of split. I am an independent, okay, to be honest with you. I'm the longest serving independent. I caucus with the Democrats, but I'm an independent. Proud of it. But
they get really independent too when it's time to put you on the ballot too, I noticed. So
right.
That's fair.
So I work with people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Pramila Jayapal and Ro Khanna and a bunch of other people. And we are trying to move the Democratic Party to be a party that stands with working class Americans and has the courage to take on powerful special interests. Now, there's another faction of the Democratic Party that, doesn't like Trump for, I think, a lot of right reasons. I agree with him. But basically cuddles up to the moneyed interests. And that's the vision that we have. Mamdani is part of the movement that I've helped try to build. Alexandria as well, and others, many, many others. So that's kind of the split that we're seeing within the Democratic Party.
Got it. Do you feel like you've been in politics for a long time and you're growing into be an adult now? In your years?
By an adult. I know. My grandchildren will tell you I'm not, but I don't know.
But I just mean, do you feel like at some point, like it's time to start a new party, like more than ever? Like, do you feel that?
Yeah.
You know, because you have guys like you talk about guys like Ro Khanna, people that are inspired by him. Like, like I got to sit down with him. I like a lot of things he has to say.
He's a good guy.
An internet bill of rights. I feel like he has like, he's a forward thinker.
Yes, he is. Smart guy.
Yeah. And so I feel like if you got a band of people, it's not that hard to find the people that people love.
Good. All right. Have I thought about it? Yeah, like for about 400 years.
That's how you've thought about it? Yeah.
All right. All right. But, all right, this is the reality that I have to deal with every day. In my view, the Republican Party, which used to be a conservative party, a small government type party, has become under Trump kind of a right-wing extremist party, okay? There are some exceptions, to be sure. But that's kind of where it is. Democratic Party, as I've mentioned to you, their establishment more or less wants to protect the status quo, and then there are those of us who want to bring about fundamental changes in the economic and political life of the country. So that's where you are. Now, starting a third party is something, when I was mayor of the city of Burlington, in a sense, we did. Okay, I defeated a Democratic mayor.
Yeah.
And so we had the Republicans, we had the Democrats. And
that must have felt awesome, was it?
It felt pretty good. A guy who had been mayor for 10 years and nobody thought we could win. We won by 10 votes.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, I say that to people, if you think it's hard, you could do it. We did it. All right. That was a long time ago. And we started kind of unofficially, we called it independent party of sorts. So it can be done. And there are strong independents today running for office who have a chance to win. But you ask about starting a party within today's political climate, it is very hard. All right, for example, you want to start a party in many states, you're going to have to get enormous numbers of signatures in every county in the state to even get on the ballot because the two-party system does not want you on the ballot.
Of course.
Okay? And, you likely don't have a lot of money to do all that stuff. So it ain't easy, but there are people who are thinking about it. Right now, where my energy is to transform the Democratic Party. When many years ago under Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Harry Truman, the Democratic Party was considered to be the party of the American working class. Unfortunately, that has changed over the years. I want, once again, to have a Democratic Party which has the guts to stand up to the billionaire class and create an economy that works for everybody and not just the very rich.
Do you feel like it's a time where we just need to be in the streets more than ever, where people need to be revolting? Do you think it takes a revolution to change things? Like, what's really going to change something? It doesn't seem like voting is going to get us there. Now, I do like the idea that you have a guy like Mamdani that inspires you and makes you feel hope, and you feel like it's different, and he's against an establishment, even if it feels like it's a local one, whatever that is, that he feels like it's different, right? I agree. That is exciting. That is exhilarating. But is a guy like that, is like a Tom Sawyer like him, can he go through all the rapids of the like dirty Mississippi that is fucking politics and get us to somewhere new?
He's not a savior. He's going to be a good mayor. We need 100 Mamdanis. We need what I call a political revolution. And that is, what the establishment does. Theo, they're very greedy people. They could care less about ordinary people. They want more wealth and power. But the ugliest thing that they do is through the media that they own, et cetera, is they tell people that they are powerless and they have no power. And the answer is, when people are organized and stand together, they do have power. And that's what we're trying to do all over this country. Bring people, not allow Trump and his friends, I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, who cares? You're Muslim, you're Jewish, whatever you may be. Let's stand together because, again, I've been all over this country. People understand that healthcare is a right. They want a good education system. They don't think there should be 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 93%. They're concerned about climate change. They don't want this country involved in endless wars. Are there disagreements on abortion and other issues? There are. But by and large, you'd be surprised. A few months ago, I went to Mingo County, West Virginia. You know where that is?
I don't know where it is. I've spent some time in West Virginia, though. I like it.
Yeah, I love West Virginia. It's a beautiful state. It's a poor state. I went to the county, Theo. Trump won West Virginia by over 70% of the vote, okay? I went to the county where he did the best.
Mm-hmm.
He got 74% of the vote. And I went to that county precisely because he got 74%. I want to hear what people were thinking about.
Yeah.
Walk into a meeting, wasn't the largest rally we ever did, 400 or 500 people in the middle of nowhere. This is nowhere.
Well, a lot of people
that's
thought,
it. There's a picture of it.
A lot of people thought you were probably giving away free Ben and Jerry's out there,
I'm
too.
giving. Nope. And there it is. There's a picture of the.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, a big gym there. And it turns out this is Trump country. These are decent people. They're worried about their kids. A veteran up there worried about the needs of veterans. Mom worried about a baby. So I'm not saying, Vermont's a liberal state, West Virginia's a conservative state. I'm not saying that there aren't differences of opinion. There are.
Oh, yeah.
But you'd be surprised. This is the good news, that as Americans, we share a lot of common values. We know that so many people fought and died for democracy. What does democracy mean? It means that just because I'm the president, I don't have the right to shut you up. I don't have the right to politically prosecute you because you're against me.
Yeah.
You disagree with me? Fine, I'll argue with you. You beat me in an election? Fine, I'm unhappy. That's the way life goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, the American people don't want a few people, billionaires controlling the economy. They don't want an authoritarian society. They want an economy that works for all. Those are the common threads, I think, that we can build a political movement around.
Well, I don't think people care if they're. I think people less and less even associate with a party anymore. I think that's happened in the past 2 years. That
right.
to me feels like it's happened more than ever.